Hey coin collectors, and welcome to DC Coin Will International Coin Channel. Hey, this one is a little too smooth, and that's why it's probably worth 50 cents or less. Today we're looking at the 1967 1-cent coin, and here we have it right here. It says, "In God We Trust," above Lincoln's head. We see it says Liberty behind him, 1967 here. Lincoln facing to the right. Nothing underneath the 1967. We'll talk about that in a second. And it has a smooth edge. And if we flip it over to the back, we see by 1967, of course, they had the Lincoln Memorial cent. It says United States of America at the top, E pluribus unum here. Has the Lincoln Memorial right there. And then right at the bottom, it says 1 cent. In 1967, that was one of the years that they did not put the mint mark. So none of the coins, the pennies from 1967, will have a mint mark on them. This is a bronze coin. It weighs 3.11 grams, 19 millimeters in diameter, and 1.3 millimeters in thickness. And in 1967, not only did they not have any mint marks, they also didn't have any uncirculated mint sets except for one, and that was the special mint set, kind of a proof-like set they called it. In 1967, they made 1.863 million of those. So 1.8 million of the special mint sets. This is not the proof like, this is just a regular coin. This coin is probably in this shape worth 50 cents or less. There's plenty of them around. Because there's no mint mark on them, a lot of people kept them, but there's no differentiation. So this coin, they made 3 billion of these US 1-cent coins. Not many of them are valuable. You may get some, and what you want to do if you want the valuable ones is look for the ones that are red.
When you get one that's really red, the differences can just be amazing. And look at this one here. This is a 1967 Mint State 67 red. Look at the detail in the head, the ears, the bow tie down here, the lines, the folds in the coat. And then over here on the Lincoln Memorial, look at the detail there, and look at Lincoln down here in the center. Great initials here. Great detail in the print on the 1 cent. And notice even with this one, the Liberty's a little bit, the L in the Liberty's a little bit to the outside. Now how much are these worth? Well, in a Mint State 67 red, and this is how you can see the rating right here. This was graded by the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, as a Mint State 67 red. If we go down here a little bit, you can see one of these sold for $4,945 in 2008 by Bowers and Marina Auctions. Now, if we go way down to the bottom and we go over to the right as far as we can to see the last one on there, we'll see that because they found so many since then, they found 21 of these at a Mint State 67 red at this point. They're only worth $425. So the lesson there is when they find the first one, when they get the first one graded in 2008 and it's worth $5,000, everybody looks for them in their collections. And when they look for them in their collections, it turns out that there was a bunch more out there. There wasn't just one, there are at least 21, and that brings the price down to $425. Still a great deal of money, but nowhere near the almost $5,000 that was paid at auction. Now, sometimes you'll get a coin that, even though it is graded the same as the others, has a much different look than the others. And I'm going to show you a red-brown. Look at the coloring on this, just amazing, amazing coloring. And you think this might be a red one, but this is not a red one. This is the red and the brown. And when you get the coloring on here, sometimes people will be willing to pay an incredible premium for them. And the same with this brown coin. And you see that this is much more purple than brown. And this again would have a huge premium. But in general, it's going to be the red coins, and they're going to look a lot like this and have this kind of detail in order to have some value.
One of the features you want to look for, of course, is over here, down to the right. There's an F and a G there, and that's for Frank Gasparo, who was the engraver of these coins. And you can see it right there on the end of the FG, right there on the end of the Lincoln Memorial. The other thing you want to look for is the initials on the front that have been there since 1909. And that's the Victor David Brenner initials. And you'll see on this one, not very good initials. It looks like a good coin, but maybe it got polished up a little bit, because you should see right down in there, you should see a V, a D, and a B. So sometimes what happens is you get a coin that looks really, really good. Then when you look at it, you realize, hey, this one is a little too smooth. And that's what happened to this one. And that's why it's probably worth 50 cents or less. Now, I want to talk about another country that also produced pennies in 1967, and that's not the United Kingdom. That's actually New Zealand. New Zealand went to the decimalization of the dollar in 1967, and if we can get that light right, we'll see. Just pretty red here. So 1967, that's the first year they made a New Zealand penny. This was a George James Barry. The front, of course, was the same design that was on all United Kingdom coins. And that, of course, is the Arnold Machin second portrait of Queen Elizabeth. It says Elizabeth II, New Zealand. If we flip it over to the back, we see this is the fern leaf, 1 cent denomination. It doesn't say cent anywhere on there, it just has the 1 in the fern leaf. They also made it in a 2 cent variety. And there's the 2 cent denomination right there. The 2 cent variety has the Kawe flowers. They made about 75 million. They also made it in a proof, in a year set, in a brilliant uncirculated specimen set. If you want to find the initials of Mr. Barry, we just look, you can see the initials on this coin. What else did they make? So they made the 1, the 2. They also made 10-cent coin. And the New Zealand 10-cent coin, or 1 shilling, because remember they were transferring between the old New Zealand pound and the New Zealand decimalized coins. There we go. So that's the 1 shilling. They made 17 million. This on the back is a Maori carved mask. The Kiwi, the 20-cent Kiwi coin, again, is a George James Barry design. It's the Kiwi, and it is out hunting in the grass. Just this beautiful bird. This is now on the dollar, I believe, in New Zealand, but at the time, from 1967 to 1985, it was on the 20-cent coin. In 1967, they made 13 million of these. These are worth $1 or $2, just the general circulation ones. All right, so back to the United States. There's the United States penny. There is the New Zealand penny. And that's all we have for today from DC Coin World International Coin Channel.